Oh my goodness, Raider Nation, we have learned so much about what the Raiders are planning to do at the quarterback position after Dave Ziegler had an interview with former Raider Will Compton on his podcast, Bussin with the Boys. We know fans are craving Aaron Rodgers. They're waking up every single day trying to figure out, has this guy come back from the darkness retreat yet? Is he going to be a Las Vegas Raider? Is he going to reunite with Davante Adams? And are the Raiders in 2023, when the Super Bowl is hosted in Las Vegas, do they still have Super Bowl aspirations? Or could there be something more unfortunate where the Raiders end up rebuilding after moving on from their franchise quarterback Derek Carr? We know the Raiders have the number 7 overall pick in the NFL draft, and who knows when they'll have a pick like this again. The last time they did was in 2019 when they had the 4th overall pick and ended up selecting Clelin Ferrell. And there are tons of quarterbacks that the Raiders have to choose from with pick number 7 in the NFL draft. We know the Texans are likely going to take a QB along with the Colts. Maybe Detroit or Seattle will surprise us and take a QB, but Seattle seems content with Geno Smith and Detroit seems to really like Jared Goff. So the Raiders, if nobody trades up, could end up picking the 3rd QB in the NFL draft. But the big question is, has Mark Davis given Josh McDaniels and GM Dave Ziegler enough time to really roll with the rookie quarterback? Or are there high expectations this next year where the GM and the head coach have to go all in on a veteran, or else they risk getting fired? We know Ian Rappaport recently floated the idea of Jarrett Stidham. And by the way, isn't it so weird that the Raiders invite Ian Rappaport on the Raiders channel so he can tell the Raiders what he thinks they might do at QB? It's kind of bizarre. But you have Hondo Carpenter of Sports Illustrated saying that if the Raiders roll with Jarrett Stidham as their starting QB next season, he believes, based on who he talks to, that they would be disappointed and that is not their plan. Obviously, we can't believe every single thing a reporter says. They're not right about everything. A lot of them thought Tom Brady was inevitable, and even before that, they thought that Jim Harbaugh was going to be the head coach instead of Josh McDaniels. But we do know for a fact that at least on the offensive side of the ball, the Raiders seem like they're ready to go. Their offensive line improved last year, especially in terms of run blocking. Still got a lot of work in terms of pass blocking, but they obviously have the offensive weapons. We know it, bro. Renfro, Waller, Devontae, and Jacobs. If they franchise tag Jacobs, who knows? You know he wants to get paid. And the defense, they have a lot of work there outside of Max Crosby. But we do know from tons of sources that they were interested in Brady, and him retiring really threw a wrench in the spokes of what they're planning to do. And so it seems like the logical next step is, oh, the Raiders should pursue Aaron Rodgers. But based on what Dave Ziegler has said in these interviews with Bussin with the Boys, and also just based on what he's said throughout his time with the Raiders, we know recently when talking on the Raiders channel, he said that him and Josh McDaniels did not go to Mark Davis and say that they're going to win the Super Bowl next year.
We didn't go in there and say we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. I mean, we had a vision that we're going to build something that sustains over the long term. And just
so clearly it seems like he believes he has a lot of time to do a long-term plan, and he reiterated this on Bussin with the Boys.
So I don't let fear or like
the fear of failure,
or being fired like drive decisions.
Or trying to like keep your job.
I'm going to buy 2 more years if we do this or that.
And so clearly, if you're having this mindset going all in on Aaron Rodgers, picking up that $58 million bonus, which is spread out over 2 seasons, and trying to win a Super Bowl next year or the year after, and then after that, Rodgers is likely retiring and you're kind of in a soft rebuild anyways, doesn't sound like that's what Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels are going to do if they keep trying to tell us fans that they're thinking long term. And that is why, in terms of the quarterback situation, I personally believe Dave Ziegler let a lot slip right here. Obviously, he can't say exactly what his plans are, but he did say something by accident, which indicates what the Raiders are planning to do.
Of it, because it's the quarterback. It's the most important position on the team. However we fill it, it doesn't mean we're going to have an immediate answer, this year.
And that is the big quote of the day. We may not have an immediate answer at quarterback next year. That is a huge statement because he's basically saying, hey, we might not find our guy next year. Obviously, if you're pursuing Aaron Rodgers, if you're pursuing Jimmy Garoppolo, those are free agent veterans where if you're signing them to a decent contract, they're your guy. So this leads me to believe that they're possibly thinking of drafting a quarterback, maybe rolling with Jarrett Stidham, who is an unproven guy with not much NFL tape. Keep in mind, Jarrett Stidham barely started the first 2 games of his career just this past year with the Raiders. So whether it be a rookie or Jarrett Stidham, you do not know if they are going to pan out for sure. And it seems like Dave Ziegler is setting the expectations low for 2023. Hey, we're going to find a guy and see if they're going to work. And we might not find an answer there. And we might even be looking in 2024 for the next QB, because the quarterback is the most important position in the NFL, the most difficult position in the NFL. And it's not like you're just going to be able to find one out of thin air. There have also been rumors that the Raiders could maybe trade for Mac Jones, but I do not personally see it happening. I think the Patriots brought in Bill O'Brien to run the offense to keep Mac Jones happy for next year. But I do believe the Raiders will likely draft their next quarterback, and I do think Mark Davis has given these guys more time than Raiders fans realize. Keep in mind, when there was heat after the Colts game, Mark Davis went out of his way to say Josh McDaniels is doing a fantastic job and will be the Raiders head coach for years to come. You know, Mark Davis gave these guys a 4-year contract. He doesn't want to end up paying them and Gruden and a new head coach at the same time. So I think he's going to let this contract play out with Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels. And I think they're going to have time to find a rookie quarterback and see if they can have one of those QBs on that cheap rookie contract and really build the rest of this team with all the salary cap they have. The Raiders right now have $46 million in cap space. Do you really want a quarterback to eat all that up? You just had a highly paid quarterback and you moved on from him because you did not think he was worth that big cap hit. Raiders will probably draft and not make that mistake twice. The question is, will fans be okay with this? Will other players on the team be okay with this? We know Josh Jacobs said, if you want me to be the hero, you're going to have to pay me like the hero. But if the Raiders do draft a QB, then they can afford to pay Josh Jacobs a decent amount of money. Devontae Adams, we know he wants to win a Super Bowl now. He's 30 years old. Is he going to want to play with the rookie in his prime? Same thing with Darren Waller. He's also 30. Either way, man, whether we like it or not, the quarterback is going to be the number one thing that the Raiders are focusing on. I'll be posting some draft content on my NFL channel, WiFiWillie NFL. Make sure you subscribe to that. The link to that channel is in the pinned comment below for general NFL content outside of the Raiders. The NFL Combine is coming up the 26th, so we'll definitely be breaking that down. Either way, like this video if you have not yet, and subscribe to this channel for more Raiders content. My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.